So there's two things. Oil. The principal reason is that oil has gone up to $53 a barrel from the 30s to 40s. And there's a sense that it's going to go higher. So people are buying Canadian products, driving the Canadian dollar higher, right? That's how it works. So our government wants a lower Canadian dollar so we can sell more products to the United States. It's actually good for the oil industry because we sell in Canadian dollars. So if they're selling at 50, they're getting 65. If they're selling 50 US, they're getting 65 Canadian, right?
Yep.
Because oil prices are quoted American. So here's the issue. There's a sense that some people want to see interest rates rise, but they can't rise because if we raise interest rates, it creates demand for the Canadian dollar, which drives the dollar higher. So the fact that oil is just going to continue to rise is going to put pressure higher on the dollar, which is going to put pressure lower on interest rates. And so if we want to keep the dollar lower, we have to lower interest rates. And the manufacturers are screaming when the dollar gets over 80 cents, it's not as good, obviously, if the dollar is at 73 or 74. So I think what you're going to see is the next rate announcement is going to be a reduction in interest rates, and the dollar is going to probably stabilize under 80 cents.
Hello up there. It's Brad J. Lamb. You too can become a condo millionaire. The Todd Shapiro Show. Canada Laughs. Sirius XM 168.
How's the Bradley coming along?
I'm doing well.
Okay, good. No, the Bradley Hotel. Are we making movement on that?
No, we're no closer.
Okay, because I want to be your doorman. I think that's where it's headed for me. Okay. Kenny, grab the mic. Kenny Robbins and Brad Lamb, legendary comedian.
That's what they call you when you're still alive.
So are you funny?
Absolutely. You wouldn't know by you and I having this conversation.
I'm staring at you to see if you're funny.
Oh, I'm staring at your watch. That's what it is.
You like that?
Yeah, I like it. I like mine too, but mine's all right. But it's humble compared to yours.
Yeah.
But it's.
Fix Brad's mic, Bilal. Come on, get in the game a little bit,
Really?
buddy.
What are you being paid for here?
I know.
Jesus.
I don't know what he's being paid for.
Leave
not today,
the kid
anyway.
alone. He hasn't met a girl yet. Okay. Like
Oh, you didn't talk about that again, did you?
Until it changes.
I can't get away from it, Brad. We're doing everything in our power.
You should just come in one day and say that you got fucked on the weekend, and that you were drunk and don't remember it.
No, because if that happens, he ain't coming in.
Yeah, can you pull the mic suck off, Bilal, please? I can't hear Brad. Okay, just yeah, thank you. Well, no, he can't tell a lie. He doesn't know how to tell a lie.
Really? Yeah, you.
Well, no wonder he's not getting laid. Okay. Give him your resume, let him repeat it to some woman in a bar, and next thing you know, he's everybody's hero.
Do you blush easily?
I'll grab my.
He's leaving.
No. He doesn't have a mic.
I do blush quite easily.
He's got to tell.
Yeah.
He's definitely got to tell.
That's not good. If you play poker, that's not good.
That's why I was in Todd's poker tournament and I finished second to last. So.
Oh, okay. That's not good.
No.
And it was online too, so
Yeah.
we could tell his tell online. So everything's going all right with you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really busy. Got a lot of things going on. Some good, some bad. It's always some good, some bad.
What's the bad?
Oh man, like we're digging we're doing a building in Ottawa, and it's a fucking leaky boat. I mean, it's it's a massive amount of groundwater in the project. More than we thought, and we're doing this as a very, very it's a very difficult site because of the groundwater. So we're doing something called a raft slab, which is a super ton of steel and concrete at the bottom to hold the water pressure down. And then we've done something called a slurry wall. The only way to do this project was by way of a slurry wall, and slurry walls are very expensive and difficult to do. And basically what that is rather than forming a concrete wall the normal way you do it is you actually you actually form the exterior walls at one time by digging like a trench, a very deep trench, and you pump in concrete and slurry. What you end up with is, the reason why you do this is because it keeps the pressure of the water off instantaneously. Like you can't do it in stages. But what it does is it leaves you with a very bumpy garage wall. You've seen sometimes, if you Google slurry wall, you see what they look like. It looks like a cave at the end. Like it's very bumpy. But I mean, this has been a problem project for us in terms of the difficulty of doing it. And not every project, like the Harlow in Toronto, is like a dream. It's a dream, right? But every project has its problems with suppliers or environmental issues or water or some shithead lawyer neighbor or, it's just endless, right? Or the city sometimes can be a problem.
So the slurry wall, then you just get a little slurry at night to deal with it, eh? A few pops just to handle it.
I've had to do that a few times.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's the only way I would be able to
So
deal
you
with
must have been thrilled yesterday when Trump was saying if you build any new factories, we'll take care of the safety, we'll take care of the regulations, we'll take care of all, they're just going to push all the old things away and just let it get done, right?
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. No.
Okay.
I think what Donald Trump's going to try to do. So when you develop or you build anything or you start a business, there's a lot of red tape. Like it's endless. Like I'll tell you right now, we're trying to register a building I completed a full year ago, and it's stuck at the land registry office. It's fucking ridiculous. It's been 7 months there. Should take a week, and it just seems impossible to get them to move and tell us what they don't like about the title of the property. Right. So we just keep going back and forth without proper guidance and information. It's very simple for them to do it, just won't do it. And this is the kind of stuff that costs projects. It's cost me $2 million by just fucking around with the government. So what Donald Trump is probably proposing, and it's difficult to do because these agencies all stand alone, right? You're not going to walk into the Register of Ontario's office and tell them what they're going to do. They're going to push back, right? So I think what he ideally wants to do is try to reduce the red tape, so to speak, in running businesses and starting businesses and getting things done. It's a very noble idea. It's great. It's not throwing away all the safety issues and saying, we're not going to hold you to the same requirements that someone would normally have to do. It's just getting the work analyzed faster at the government level to make things happen more quickly.
Okay, so it's not like a return to fiberglass insulation or anything like that.
No. It's just what it is that private industry does move faster than government in every situation,
right.
And so if you're relying on the speed of government, then it's going to slow things down. So I think what he's saying is that we're going to try to push our government agencies to move faster and require less red tape. We'll see if it happens. It's going to be tough.
If he can succeed in that, though, and actually get some certain things accomplished that end up bringing back jobs to the U.S., that's probably part of his strategy, too, right? To make sure that he doesn't want to go through all the red tape to get stuff done, to prove that jobs are coming there, whatever it may be, building a wall or, getting... So he probably wants to cut corners on that reason alone, because that way people will maybe, with all the haters out there, maybe actually try and deem that there is some success with his presidency.
It's not really cutting corners. I'll give you an example. Like India is notorious for horrendous red tape. Like it's almost impossible to open up a business there. It can take years. Now, it's the government agencies that all interconnect but don't communicate, and they prevent things from flowing from agency to agency to get it done. So, it's not cutting corners. It's making people react to files more quickly. And there's many ways. We have the same problem in Canada. Believe me, it's like you ever go to get your car license or your passport. It's fucking mystifying. Why it takes so fucking long? It's crazy. But so listen.
But if you add the extra $30 into your application, they speed you up for your passport.
They do.
Yeah, so you just can't slide somebody at the desk with an extra 20 in your hand and go, here's for you.
But there should be no reason why you can't get a passport faster. It's absurd. Mm-hmm. But the one thing they'll say that Donald Trump's going to do that I think, if this is all he does in his presidency, if he reduces corporate tax rates and he allows American corporations, so our corporate tax rates are 26.5% in Canada, and this is more or less a socialist country. They're 40% in the United States. And this is the land of the free and enterprise, right? But the biggest problem is that there's I'm going to say trillions of dollars of profits, American corporate profits trapped overseas. And the corporations will not bring them back because they got to pay a very high tax rate. So it just sits in these countries. And yes, they do put it to work in those countries, but it's not adding jobs in the States, right? Every one of those countries or companies would rather bring the money back to the United States. And he's proposing the last time I heard, was to half the tax rate. And he's talking 10%, 9 or 10% is a tax for repatriating profits trapped in other countries. That's going to bring a shit ton of money to the United States quickly. It'll be one of those things where you have to do it in 2017 or within 2017, 2018. It's going to bring so much money back, and that money is going to get reinvested in the United States. That alone will be, will cause 6 or 7% economic growth in the United States yearly.
So I mean that's because I would have never thought of it that way. When people hear corporate tax breaks, they go, "Oh, give the rich guys another break. You're giving the rich guys some." But what they don't realize is they're going to invest that money.
Well, that has also been a myth with a lot of things too. Instead of becoming investment back into the business, it also just becomes dividends they pay off to their investors.
Well,
in
that's
a lot of
okay
cases.
because for instance, so the big issue is that the money's in Germany. Or
Actually, Canada now. I read an article.
in Canada too,
I read a huge article today. How they're investing in Canada.
Well, the Canada's a tiny country in terms of U.S. investment, but places like Ireland, like there's huge tech offices in Ireland that are holding.
Apple
tons
did
of
that
money.
whole thing where they
Germany, France, Korea, Japan, all over the world. Okay, so the choice we have, or Americans have, is the money stays there; it never comes back, ever stays there, makes those countries rich. Or the money comes back to the United States. It gets used to pay dividends. So it gets paid for dividends.
Do we take any tax from them, or just let them bring it all
no.
back without taking anything?
They're going to charge half the new Trump corporate tax. So it encourages them to bring the money back to the United States. The United States is never going to get any of it. It's never going to get taxed, period. So this way it gets taxed something, but
better a nickel than nothing at all.
Zero. And but more importantly, it's going to put like a massive flow of money in the United States, and that money could be dividends. It could be, which is great. Like it's not all corporations that own corporations. There's lots of people that have stock funds.
For sure.
Of course, it's going to help everybody. And by the way, if you're a holding company, you're an investment company, like say a guy like Blackstone, a company like Blackstone, okay, that has tons and tons of shares. Okay, so they're going to get like $400 or $40 billion of dividends, whatever it is. But that money's going to get reinvested into other things. They buy real estate, they develop real estate, they build hotels, they build ski hills, they build factories. It's going to find its way back into the economy. This one thing alone will be the hugest thing that any president's ever done.
Wow. And also for those who just invest and they get dividends, they'll spend more money on Christmas time
or they'll buy a car,
like that.
or they'll buy a TV, whatever. It's going to go back in the economy some way.
Tell me about this Dream office in Alberta where there's, and I saw the story there, they plan to sell 12 of its Alberta office buildings for an estimated $200 million, 1.5 million square feet of space. And is this because of the downturn of the oil and gas industry?
Yeah, they're giving away. So basically they had about $1.8 billion, something like that, of real estate. They had 40 or 50 buildings.
Is this how do you say it? It's
a real estate investment trust.
Okay.
So Dream is Dundee Real Estate Investment Trust. They changed the name to Dream. It's a very nice name, but it's Dundee. And they had 50 or so buildings in Alberta, and they're doing badly. They're large vacancies. Vacancy rates in the commercial business in Alberta, in the big cities, is 25% or more. And it might be creeping towards 30, and that's a disaster. In Canada, in Toronto, it might be 5%. So they're dumping, they're shitting their pants. They're doing exactly what they shouldn't do. They're selling at the bottom of the market, and it sets a bad signal out, I think. And someone's going to steal that real estate. That $200 million will be worth $600 million in 5 or 6 years when the market fully recovers.
You want to get it together? I'll give you.
I guess the same things are going for homes and as well, right?
No. So interestingly enough, the unemployment rate's gone from 5% to like say 9%, which is not great. But the part-time unemployment rate has gone down. So a lot of people have gotten part-time jobs to try to, couples were doing whatever they can to stay together.
Sure.
I mean, financially keep it together. Yeah. And in fact, the residential real estate market has not dropped anywhere close to the commercial market. The high-rise market, they were building a lot, so the oil companies were expanding. And they're building a lot of offices for the idea that they were going to be adding more oil capacity. So law offices, investment offices, everything expanding. More so in Calgary than Edmonton. And so Calgary got whacked with a big vacancy rate. So, the office market is either amazing in Calgary or it's not great. And right now it's not great. But, all of this stuff that's happening, these two pipelines, oil at $54 a barrel. It'd be $54, $55 a barrel by the end of January, maybe early February. It'll be $60 a barrel probably by the end of April, and I think will be $70 a barrel for Canadian oil, or say Brent, sometime probably in September. So at $70 a barrel, every Canadian company's making good money.
Should people invest in oil?
Yes, I think so. I think right now, if you invested, by the way, a company like in Canada was I'm going to say between $3 and $6 a share at the low about a year ago, and it's at $16 a share today. And I'm going to tell you that stock will be $30 a share in a year and a half.
Wow.
So oil stocks are like airline stocks. They're cyclical, right? When oil prices are doing badly, they do badly. When economies do badly, airlines do badly. Cyclical stocks are great. You buy them at the obvious lowest time, and you sell them at the peak when oil's $130 a barrel. That's when you want to get out.
So you're going to make an offer on that? Can you going to make an offer on that?
I wish I could, but no. I've got enough going on in Alberta. I don't need more right now.
Okay, you got. Well, it's interesting because you're doing stuff out in Hamilton, as we know.
Yep.
Television city.
Yep.
And that's exciting. And now, are people pushing more? Like, with these high prices, from Toronto to Etobicoke and then going west and stuff. Are people going even closer, like to Niagara with St. Catharines? Is that starting to build out?
Well, yeah. So what's happened is Hamilton prices have doubled in the last 5 years, and Guelph prices have done outstanding. I don't know if they've doubled in the last 5 years, but Guelph's grown tremendously. So now, Kitchener-Waterloo, Cambridge is the next outpost of making that big travel to Toronto. And but although there's a good job, there's good high-tech jobs in the Kitchener-Waterloo, Cambridge area. But because the GO train is being expanded down to Niagara Falls, and also they're building a bunch of superhighways around Hamilton, Guelph, and Niagara Falls, a bunch. And those highways are going to make it much
What's
easier.
a superhighway? Like, does it rescue
Like a
the car
6-lane.
accident?
Like-
Okay, no, I just okay.
Yes, that's what it is.
Rescues you from the traffic
I
jam.
won't bother explaining because I'm sure everyone but you knows. Anyway, so like Hamilton, we're doing Hamilton now. He's bought another site there because, like on daily, I hear and I see changes in the Hamilton environment. Hamilton is now considered the Brooklyn of Canada. And it's a cool city. It's getting cooler on a weekly basis with new announcements. Unfortunately, what it means, if it gets cool too fast, it also means prices are going to go high, and that will then push people elsewhere, right? But Hamilton's the next place for sure.
Let's talk some movies.
Yeah.
Let's find out the softer side of Brad. Well,
You know
Kenny,
what?
did you like the what's the story?
So remember I told you I was going to make an announcement?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I bought this. It's conditionally purchased. I'm going through my due diligence, but I bought a movie studio in Toronto.
Come on.
Yeah.
To build to transform or to produce.
Well, so I have a company I set up. I told you I wanted to get in the film business.
Yeah.
I told you that. So right now, this is a studio. So studios are basically just rental real estate, right? You're basically renting space to production companies, to people who want to make television, commercials, TV shows. Pardon me?
TV series.
TV series,
sound
yeah.
lots,
So you can there's production offices that can be rented, and there's 2 sound stages. It's the smallest of the 3 studios in Toronto, and I'm going to keep it operating as a studio. It's a large parcel of land, and it's downtown. It's in the it's
East
in the
side?
east side.
Eastern?
Yeah,
Like
it's on Eastern Avenue.
Yeah.
Okay.
So ultimately, I could see it being. The subway is going to is coming down Pape and routing along the Eastern, stopping at Broadview, probably in 10 or 12 years. So I see it as a future development site, maybe, but for the time being, we're going to run it as a studio. I do have I set up a film production company called Bad Lamb Films, but I'm not doing any movie production. But the plan is at some point down the road that I will do some. Yeah.
Wow, man.
You got to get Martin Sheen in on that
Why Martin Sheen?
because he did that movie Badlands about the serial killer. What was his name? Back in the 50s, Sissy Spacek was his girlfriend in this one. So they went on like a 5-state murdering spree, inspired Bruce Springsteen's song Nebraska.
Oh, okay. Well, this is Bad Lamb.
Oh, if they said Badlands, my
Because
mistake.
my last name is
Okay.
Lamb. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
Sorry,
Bad.
okay.
Instead of Brad
Bad Lamb is a sex victim in Scotland.
Bad
Oh,
Lamb.
Did not know that.
Well, that's huge news, man. That sounds like a lot of fun for you. That
Yeah, for now it's
I'm-
just it's managing
yeah.
real estate. Like it's just like you're renting to tenants monthly. Obviously, there's going to be different clientele. It's people in the film.
Yeah, it's like a
business, but-
commercial space now for
Yeah.
for studios.
Yeah.
Or a
Wow.
holding space for the next G Summit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. That's exactly right.
That's where they put them.
That's where they put them as a prison.
Well, that's good to know. I mean, we'll give a Todd Shapiro show rate to my entertainment community. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
like, not a chance.
Yeah, sure.
We're so well, that's how big's the building?
It's 80,000 feet of buildings and it's 4 acres of land. It's good.
Do you have a
size.
Bad Lamb logo made? Like I'm
Well,
picturing something really fucking cool.
So I'm going to change the name of the studios, and we're going to develop it. And what I mean by that is we're going to try to make it. It's fine. It's good as it is, but we're going to try to make it a little sharper, a little better. Try to invest in it, make it, and I think we're going to try to integrate a little bit more in the film community with it.
Yeah.
Going to attempt to, and we'll see. I mean, I just did it. It's been a couple of months I've been working on it, and we just did it 2 days ago.
Congrats.
So,
and I have an idea of one I shared with you a while ago at the basketball game that I think would do well there, if you remember what I was telling you about. But anyway, I'll tell you off air.
Was I drinking?
Yeah, we had a few drinks that night. Okay, we had a few, or you just weren't listening to me.
An amusement park.
Give you that.
No, it's
We're
a
not doing
swingers
pornos.
club.
We're
No,
not doing pornos, just so you know. It will not be a porno studio.
not with Bad Lamb name. No. Yeah.
You got all of Kingston Road for that.
Yeah, is that where you go? Just a little more east. Okay. The Oscar nominations went recently. I'll ask both you guys this. Do you know what's going on in the movie game? Well, let's start with Kenny. Did you watch? Are you a La La Land guy? Did you see?
I
this
haven't
movie?
seen La La Land. I've seen Fences. I went and saw that on Christmas Eve. What a wonderful Christmas movie that is. But I mean, it was a master's acting class from the minute the film started to the minute it ended. The entire cast was incredible. Denzel Washington directed it. I was happy to see that Mel Gibson got nominated for Best Director for
Yeah, for that war movie.
the war movie he did.
Hacksaw Ridge? Was that
Hacksaw
his?
Ridge.
Okay.
He just totally takes the battlefield and drops it right in your lap.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you've seen that?
Really? Yeah, it's
and
crazy.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I mean you jump back in your seat a few times, and of course Mel's always big on the religious symbolism. So you think the star of the movie has died as they're lowering him down. It looks like he's going up to heaven, but he's not dead yet. And hope that's not a spoiler now
whatever.
for the
Yeah.
under 20s. Oh no, you ruined the movie.
Yeah, they're gonna freak out.
Yes, I mean I was happy to see that Mel is back in. Is back in as a player. That his suspension time for whatever his sins have been lifted. So it was nice to see that. And as far as some of the other movies, I really can't, like La La Land. I don't think I'll see because I'm not a big musical buff.
Brad?
I saw most of those movies. I didn't see Fences. I probably will, but you know what? This has been a bad year for movies. I think, honest to God, I can't think of a movie this year that really blew me away. But I've seen La La Land. It's a nice movie. It's nice. It didn't blow me away. It's
You
nice.
shed a tear?
Not well. It's a little bit sad, not too sad. Yeah, I mean, Hacksaw Ridge was, I don't like Andrew Garfield, but he just annoys me. I don't know why. But the action on the field of death there
Wow.
was dude, you felt like you were there. It was so fucking scary. If that's what it actually is like fighting, I would run and jump over the ridge. I'm out of there.
Well, no. I mean,
crazy.
it's when you
It almost makes like the opening scene of Private Ryan.
Yeah.
Almost makes it look like a cartoon for
It's
children.
no way it's that-
Zero shot of surviving. Like, why would you do it? Zero shot. You're gonna die.
and is it different camera angles and things? Do they kind of
Yeah,
is it more
yeah.
point of view stuff?
And the bullets just come racing like you're right there.
Is it in 3D?
No, it should have been.
Okay.
Well, unless you go to a theater in Chicago, then it wasn't 3D.
Yeah, it was as war movies go, it was a good war movie. Yeah.
What? Tell Michael Lansbury, if he doesn't mind, we'll talk to him in about 5 minutes for Bell Let's Talk Day. Are there movies that Brad Lamb does shed a tear to?
Sure.
Oh yeah.
You're going to ask me what they are, and I'm not going to remember. But
Okay.
I tell you something. One of the reasons why I want to get in the movie business, and I've had for many years, I just haven't had the time to do it. But I see every movie. Like I probably see 300 movies a year.
Wow.
Maybe 350 movies a year.
How many a week?
I see probably 6 to 7 movies a week.
Do you like go to cinemas or?
No, I go once or twice.
Date movies or just like?
Well, when I was married, I went maybe 3 times.
Okay.
Now, not as much. But
Are you the guy though? Like you're so tall. Do people like duck down and like you're in front?
the thing is, I'm tall, but I have long legs. So I don't think I'm the worst guy.
Okay.
and you go in the afternoon. There's nobody else in there anyway.
Yeah, I don't do that. I go at night. I wish I could go in the afternoon. But I love movies. I think they're great.
Wow. And do you have a nice theater? Do you have a home theater? Do you?
You know, I don't. Well, I mean, where I live now, I live in a condo,
Oh, yeah.
so I have like a nice place to watch movies. But I'm building a home theater in that house I'm building. Well, I'm not
that's so
building because
dope.
I'm fighting with the neighbors. When the fight with the neighbors is over and I win, I will build a house with a theater.
Are
in
you
it.
gonna buy a pirate ship for the backyard?
How'd
That's a
how'd you
fight
know?
worth having.
How did you know?
Yeah, you know what really piss him off?
Cannons and everything.
I heard a great story actually about Donald Trump recently, and I'll just disclose it. It's a true story apparently about his West Palm Beach home.
Yeah.
So there's apparently requirements for how tall you could have a flagpole there. So he had it at a height that was like 40 feet higher than what they said they could do. And it was very patriotic, and it was apparently gold pole with, the American flag and stuff. And this was like all up until the last few years and stuff. And the neighbors in the township were like upset and fighting him and everything, to the point where it was getting on like the front page. This is even before the presidential run, that he was getting on the front page of the newspaper in Palm Beach there because of a flagpole. And what he would say to his neighbors and his friends is, you know what? To get on the front page of the Palm Beach will cost me $7,000. For the fine a day, it's $1,000. I'm going to keep doing it. Like that type of thing, right? So, you got to kind of figure out that kind of stuff sometimes.
Seems like the richer you are, the harder you get along with your neighbors. I remember reading this article about Nygaard has property down in the Caribbean, and he's always at war with the neighbors over what he's been doing there because he extended the beach or something to.
Yeah, no. Actually, what he did is he sucked out sand from the Bahamas protected area and made his lot from
30,000 turtles
from
died.
1.8 acres to 3 acres. He added like almost doubled the size of by building sand onto his property. And then what he did is his neighbor his name is Bacon. His last name is Bacon, and he owns one of the largest. He owns the largest ranch in the world. It's like several hundred thousand. He's a very rich kid, billionaire. Anyway, he has a house next door, and Nygaard has to drive over. He's got an easement over this guy's property to get to his, because at the end of the beach.
Okay.
Right? And he just does the fucking craziest stuff. Like he has a party. He will use this guy's property as the parking lot.
He doesn't care.
No, he's just anyway. They've been fighting for years, and it's apparently taken a toll on both of them.
That's amazing. Brad, last question before we go and get to Mr. Michael Landsberger, who's giving us his time on a very busy day for him for Bell Let's Talk. Have you been doing some of those tweets for raising awareness for mental illness and stuff?
No.
Okay.
I haven't, but
yeah.
I'm all for that.
Yeah, well, of course, we'll retweet. We'll show you how to retweet that. Or you have a guy who does. Do you have a guy who does your Twitter account?
Yes.
He does a good job.
Does
okay.
he?
Yeah, he's doing a good job. He's always retweeting our stuff. I mean, we're blasting you nonstop. I just want to ask you about the Loonie, because this is something I'm interested in. I actually have a little bit of American money, and I never know, like, when do you convert it into Canadian with this pipeline stuff now? Is our dollar
creeping up.
It's creeping up, or does the government want to keep it down to encourage investment, like film
so
stuff?
here's what's going on. So there's two things. Oil. The principal reason is that oil has gone up to $53 a barrel from the 30s or 40s. And there's a sense that it's going to go higher. So people are buying Canadian products, driving the Canadian dollar higher, right? That's how it works. So our government wants a lower Canadian dollar so we can sell more products to the United States. It's actually good for the oil industry because we sell in Canadian dollars. So if they're selling at 50, they're getting 65. If they're selling 50 U.S., they're getting 65 Canadian, right?
Yep.
Because oil prices are quoted American. So here's the issue. There's a sense that some people want to see interest rates rise, but they can't rise because if we raise interest rates, it creates demand for the Canadian dollar, which drives the dollar higher. So the fact that oil is just going to continue to rise is going to put pressure higher on the dollar, which is going to put pressure lower on interest rates. And so if we want to keep the dollar lower, we have to lower interest rates. And the manufacturers are screaming when the dollar gets over 80 cents, it's not as good, obviously, if the dollar is at 73 or 74. So I think what you're going to see is the next rate announcement is going to be a reduction in interest rates, and the dollar is going to probably stabilize under 80 cents.
So my $12 American, just keep it American. Okay.
It's hard to speculate because, the Canadian, our central bank could just decide not to touch interest rates because they feel that the economy's. So the other problem is if the economy is doing well, you don't want to stimulate it with lower interest rates because then you see inflation go up. Right?
Yeah.
So there's all these working things taking place, but I think bottom line is the dollar is going to rise and interest rates are going to drop.
And for real estate, that's good though.
So we are in the best. Listen, I think for the next 10 to 20 years, we're going to see the kind of low interest rates we have. I think it's for a very long time because, as I said before in the show, governments have vast amounts of debt and they can't service debt with high interest rates in the country.
One day, can we get people to pitch movie scripts to you?
Sure. Sure.
This is so awesome now, man. This is good. Like, we're gonna have so much fun with this movie stuff, bro. I'm gonna bug you so much more.
I need that Canadian dollar to drop.
Well, just so you know,
Yeah.
we're just running the studio. We're not producing any movies.
Oh, no, I'm gonna hound the crap out of you. Okay, we're doing some stuff. Bad Lamb, I love it. No, that's great. And we'll get the cool logo, man, like with guns and a lamb, like movies and spotlight. Hey,
Guns
Kenny.
and
A lamb on steroids has just kicked open a door.
Yeah, right.
you
He's
go.
coming in there and he's
There you go.
snarling out of the nose like you see in the old bowl or something. I like that. Well, congrats on that, man.
Thank you.
Always such an entrepreneur and so revolutionary, and always giving back and giving us very invaluable advice. We do appreciate your time. Brad Lamb, make sure you go to torontocondos.com. I always say, don't let the name of the website fool you. Developments all across Canada, and check out the Hamilton ones and a lot coming up. We'll talk more specifically about some of the stuff next week, what you're doing too here.
Sure.
And follow him at Brad J. Lamb.
The Todd Shapiro Show.
Hey, thanks for watching that video. You can subscribe over there, or you can watch another video over here. And I think this is the Daniel Bryan yes chant. So what the hell? Yes, Todd Shapiro Show. Daniel Bryan can't wrestle anymore. It's a very sad story.